Welcome to Gimcrack Video. How may I help you?
Hey, what's going on, man? You got anything new to watch?
No, but we are running a special on sequels.
Is that over there on that shelf that says that it's not for human consumption?
No, on the one right next to it that says 3 for $1.
Oh, let's just grab some. What could go wrong?
Enjoy your selection.
I need you to start recording because I was thinking earlier, the only thing worse than watching Death Toilet 3 Call of Duty twice is watching Death Toilet 3 Call of Duty twice and not recording a podcast. Because otherwise I will have wasted my time, or worse, just given up on life.
Yeah. You kind of you got to watch it for a reason. That's
Yeah,
just.
I feel like if you watch this movie without the necessity of recording a podcast, I feel like you're just saying, I don't need basic human rights. I've watched Death Toilet 3 for no reason.
Well, I thought it was kind of funny.
At least this episode is not airing during June. You were going to say, to be fair, there's no way to be fair to this movie.
No, because you were going to say it's a good thing this wasn't in June. I was going to say, to be fair, the people behind this movie are very, 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 very pro LGBTQ rights. So I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, I feel so relieved now.
Yeah, well, you said it wasn't, but there's some other decent things to say about these folks, and decent things to
about the folks, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I feel bad about what I'm about to say about them then.
Yeah.
I have not come with any shred of positivity. You should definitely not tweet at them. I am going to be unmerciful. So just a preview. I have said horrible things, absolutely reprehensible, but nothing as reprehensible as making 3 goddamn Death Toilet movies. Dustin, how did you find out about Death Toilet? Were you
Tubi?
That was it.
Tubi.
It's barely a sentence. It's barely a word. It's 2 syllables.
That's all you need to know. Tubi
or not to be.
Yeah, but I'll have a lot to say, and we'll see how you respond. Because there's things. It's good stuff. There's some bad stuff. There's some stuff, and there's more than 3 movies, Patrick. There's 5, but we'll get into that.
Okay. There's a Death Toilet amnesia horror.
Yeah, that's really a spin-off of. It's not part of the main franchise, but it is a spin-off of the Death Toilet.
What my main takeaway from this one was, because I said it out loud less than 3 minutes into the screen.
What the fuck am I watching?
No, I said film distribution is too easily accessible.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, see, that's, earlier I was saying, I was saying that I find this film weirdly inspiring in a very roundabout, unintentional way,
yes,
which was
exactly.
Good God, they got their film made and it's up on Tubi. What is stopping I from making a movie and putting it up there? They have product placement that I am certain they don't have the licensing for in their movie.
Definitely did not shoot it with a permit in the middle of Santa Ana.
I don't even know if they got agree. I don't even know if they were allowed to film in that church. I think the doors were just unlocked.
There was a thank you to the church at the end of it. So apparently they were.
Well, that proves nothing.
Just be like, thanks. I mean, how many times
What house of God allowed them access?
A Pentecostal church.
They didn't have to say why they were doing it.
Yeah, it was Pentecostal. It was on their little sign out front.
There is no way on earth the Pentecostals knew what they were making.
It said they were Pentecostal. That's the only word I could make out, other than find your refuge.
I am certain that you are correct and it was a Pentecostal church. I am certain that they told the Pentecostal church something to get them to agree to film. I am 1000% sure that no one told the Pentecostals, hey, we're making a horror movie called Death Toilet 3 and someone gets their balls cut off. There is no way in heaven or earth that a Pentecostal would have been like, Actually, yes, you can use our sanctuary. The people who don't particularly like television, the people who are pretty
you don't
strict
think
with
they
your methodology of dress and hair length.
Okay,
you don't think that they told the church that the priest's name was actually Father Dingleberry? You don't think they told the church that information?
If they did, the Pentecostal minister didn't know what it was.
That's very true. All right.
Okay, see, I was going to say point of order. I'm not sure his balls actually did get cut off.
Well, they were apparently eyeballs, so I don't know.
If you saw the first one, they couldn't afford like fake testicles, so they just use eyes.
Well, okay, see, I haven't seen the first one. And in Death Toilet 3, Duty, Call of Duty, or Duty Calls, there's nothing.
Hello, and welcome to the Found on Shelf podcast.
Hey. I'm the captain now.
Doing the eye thing, but it's your eye testicles.
Yes, it's little testy eyes. Welcome to the Found on Shelf podcast, the #1 source for #2 movies. I'm your host, Dustin, and joining me is the Prince of Porcelain himself, Patrick. How are you, Patrick?
I think I should take umbrage to that introduction, but we're here.
We are here. You started watching this masterpiece, so you called upon the ancient scrolls to bring in our resident film expert.
Yeah, I watched less than 5 minutes of this movie and said, "Spec, please watch this goddamn thing." She bit the bullet and did, and so today we have a special guest, and it is Spec. Now, the last time we had Spec on, we decided to talk about hell on earth, and this time we have visited that upon her. So this is Toilet 3. Duty calls. Duty calls.
Call of Duty. Depends. There's two titles.
Okay, so
according to IMDb,
it had 2 titles.
#2 titles.
Yes. Hey. Oh, real quick. Before we get too deep into this, we could just talk about some current events. Maybe talk about something fun, lighthearted, like. Spec, are you a fan of ABBA? I know Patrick is a fan of ABBA.
I am always at least 5 minutes away from listening to an ABBA song.
I think the better question would be is who isn't a fan of ABBA?
And as I'm sure both of you know that this is the 50th anniversary of ABBA's first #1 hit. And they are doing this, they're doing this very kind of weird promotion in the UK, and this is related to our episode. In the UK, they are actually selling a special edition ABBA branded toilet, but it's only in the UK. It's gold plated. It's really expensive, but man, what a loo!
Not only did you take a walk for a Eurovision joke,
took a whole journey,
which is a different band. In the movie. The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Mm-hmm.
There is an extended bit in which you find out one of the characters went into a restroom after Anna Frida left and grabbed a piece of her turd and has been walking around with an ABBA poo in a glass pendant.
Wow.
And that's a joke in the middle of Priscilla, which is my way of telling you should really watch more gay movies.
Oh, yeah. You've been telling me that for a while here. I've been.
We are almost at Pride Month, Dustin. You need to get a little gayer.
I will take that to heart here. And you know what? Actually, I had to do research on that joke. I first thought of I saw something about ABBA and Waterloo, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of funny. And then I actually researched it to find out that it was their 50th anniversary of Waterloo. And
was it worth it?
You know what it was to me? That silence, that like 10 seconds of just sweet silence was just worth it. I loved it so much.
Yes, everybody knows it's a good joke because nobody laughs.
Exactly.
Much like this movie.
Much like this movie. And we are halfway, just about halfway through our 3rd season, where we have been focusing on nothing but part 3 movies of franchises. And Patrick and Spec, how do you feel that the journey into season 3 has gone so far?
I mean, it led us to this, so I feel like that should be a sign of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, are we at the low point yet? Or
Oh,
more
Patrick.
horrifyingly, has the low point yet to come? Because there will be a low point. I wish it was today, but I'm terrified that there's something on the horizon.
Yeah, because this actually had some entertainment value, a little bit, not like the most.
No,
Did it?
What is wrong with that?
Yes, it did. It had some entertainment value. So
okay, hold up, pause. Podcast stopped. What entertainment value was found in this movie? I would like to know. Is the entertainment value in the room with you now?
We'll get there. We're walking the dog over. We'll get there. Don't worry. We're kicking the chicken. What was
You
that I
already
tried to get
walked
going
the dog
there?
to an ABBA joke. Let him rest.
So Pat, we can I think we've really just driven down. What we've learned most from these trilogies is that the worst movie is usually the third.
Okay, Justin, before we go further, how many of tonight's jokes are toilet puns?
Approximately 17, give or take.
Is that 17 remaining or in totality?
Somehow we will make sense of this all.
Sincerely doubt that.
If you saw part one. And let me ask you, how much do you know about the straight edge punk scene of the 90s in Southern California?
Specifically in Southern California, not a lot. But I do feel like we should pitch this movie and play the trailer before we get too much further into it. What do you think?
Here is the joy of it. All the trailers were kind of garbage. It was just a bunch of noise. So you guys are going to have to really sell this one, because it was just sound effect. There's a lot of farting and alarms and noises, and that was about it. So I decided to let you sell it. So you need to do an excellent elevator pitch for this movie.
All right. Are you in the mood for a movie about demonic possession, but you want it to at least be better than David Gordon Green's The Exorcist Believer? Hey, guess what? Death Toilet 3. Judy Calls. Right there. It's on Tubi. Press play.
See, you're actually selling it well, because all I had is Death Toilet 3 is a 5-minute joke stretched for about an hour, but the joke is just the concept of toilet humor. No actual toilet humor, just the concept of toilet humor.
See, that is accurate. I took by 30 seconds and just decided to, instead of pitch the movie, once again, take a stab at how much I hate The Exorcist Believer. But you did describe the film accurately.
Yes. Yeah. I did write, one of my notes was, they do know they don't have to put every take in the movie, right? Like, they can edit a take out.
That's a lie. You can't edit video. I have to tell you, there's no such thing as post-production. Everything goes in.
So that's the difference between a new editor and an experienced editor. A new editor says everything has to be left in. We filmed it, it should go in. But an experienced editor says none of this belongs in the movie.
I'm telling you, John Carpenter was right. 90 minutes, in, out. Anything longer is an exercise in egoism.
And he's right. The older I get, the more I believe it. Movies are too long.
It took me like 2.5 days to watch Boy Kills World, so I get it. I was like, I'll watch the rest of this. And I think that was only like 90 minutes.
I have not given that one a try. Is it? Because you weren't selling it. If you're going there for like a story that will like really change your world, then no, you're not going to find that there. But if you want a decent story and some just amazing fight scenes and some really graphic, really brutal kills, go watch this movie. It's a fucking blast. It kind of reminded me a lot of RRR, but more bloody and no animals. Yeah. And no dancing.
Okay, so you lost me. All the fun parts are gone.
Yeah. So that was your pitch. That kind of reminded me about that constipation movie that was supposed to come out, but it never did. Anyway, he
has more poop jokes than the movie did.
That's actually true.
Somehow, some way, I'm gonna make sense of all of it.
somehow, some way, I'm going to make sense of all of it. So there were 5 of these movies plus the spinoff. You had Death Toilet number 2, the movie that we watched here, Death Toilet 3, Call of Duty, also known as Duty Calls. And then there was also a part 4 called Brown Snakes on a Plane. And then there was part 5, which was Invasion of the Potty Snatchers. Now, at the end of part 4, we were introduced to a new villain of the series called Potty Mouth, which was a guy in a white costume with a fake toilet on his head.
Okay, wait, you showed me a picture of this, and I said distinctly, because all I saw was a screenshot, was he gives me the distinct feeling of a guy who, you know, quote unquote, raps. Was I right? Was I right?
Well, I don't know, because I did. So the first 3 are streaming free on Tubi. Part 4 is only available on Vimeo to either rent or buy for $2.
That's
part
too
5
much.
is on DVD.
Okay, but that guy looks like he is a character in Bible Man.
That's an insult to Bible Man.
So you did spend the $2 to watch it?
Yeah, so part 5 is actually only available through SRS as a DVD right now, not streaming anywhere. So since I spent $2 and I got it on Vimeo to watch, because you know I'm all about supporting indie films, but I have a limit, and apparently the limit for this franchise is about $2. So I spent my $2 and off we go. So I don't know if he does rap.
I thought you said he was introduced in that one.
He is, but he's only in the last like 5 minutes of the movie. It's a kind of the cliffhanger, like a Marvel movie. You know, you're like, oh, there's going to be a whole nother thing happening here. So I think he's got a big
will return in Death Toilet 6.
Well, Death Toilet
5.
6 is called Bidet of the Dead. It's not out yet. They're working on it.
Are you? I can't tell if you're joking or not.
I am not joking. Part 5 is probably the most ambitious project in the Toilet verse, because they have 13 members in their cast of part 5.
It has a name, the Toilet verse.
I just named it that myself.
Oh, okay. I was because
please don't make that a thing.
Could be Duty verse.
Okay, I'll take Toilet verse over Duty verse. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So before we get into part 3, should I brief you guys on parts 1 and 2?
Only if you think it'll help.
Do you want to do it up front, or do you want to sprinkle it in the way I did with Angel at the worst point in times?
You know what? I think I'll just do it up front, because it's literally like a paragraph for each movie. So
Okay.
This will help you. So the first one, dude's in the bathroom, gets his balls cut off. His brother, Brett Baxter, who's our hero in all these movies, goes to the house to find out why he dies. He calls a plumber. The plumber says there's no problem. And it's a horrible plumbing scene where he's like using this wrench, but it's to the side of a toilet. Like not where a wrench would be at all, but whatever. And that's when he calls the priest, Father Dingleberry, to exorcise the demon. And then he thinks it works. He sits on the toilet, gets his balls cut off, and then he goes to drop a grenade. He's got this little plastic grenade from like Party City or Dollar Store. And he's holding it like it's a real grenade, and he's leaning in over the toilet, and he goes to drop the grenade in, but then he gets his throat sliced by the toilet. And that was the end of that movie. That was an hour-long movie.
How did they make that an hour long?
Yeah, I think that's my big problem with this. These movies, I think, would have done much better if they were 5-minute movies, 5 or 10-minute movies.
They're YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
Exactly what was coming out of my mouth.
There is, however, if you are interested, there is a fart line. The phone number is 616-666-FART. And you can call that number, and there'll be a little voice message playing, and they encourage you to leave a voice message of your own fart to add.
Did you do it? Dustin, did you leave your own fart?
No, I called. I think I got a little shy. There's a Taco Bell down the street, though, so I'll be ready next time. I will be ready. Yeah, so that was pretty much, and just so you know how some of the, well, this was the scene when Brett walks up to a gravestone and is talking to his dead brother about avenging. This is literally how the scene, and it's just, if the listening audience is still here, probably not. This is why Spec is saying you can edit it. All that is.
Listening audience is
much.
Spec.
I'm gonna make sense of all of this.
Somehow, some way.
I'm gonna make sense of all of it. Hey, buddy. I promise you this. I'm gonna make sense of this somehow, some way. I promise you, brother, I will avenge you.
Bro, you can't clean mud off a truck without a hose. So why do you think you can clean shit off your ass with toilet paper? Man up and get Bro Wipes, the only wet wipes formulated for men. Each Bro Wipe comes in your choice of mossy oak or Arctic tundra, so the shit can't see it coming. They're every bit as durable as a Cybertruck, and they're completely flushable. We promise that's not a lie. Plus, they have the cooling sensation of mint for when you need some relief on Taco Tuesday. So, stop being a little bitch and get Bro Wipes today. Blast your asshole with the cooling power of mint, bro.
You know, I have this thing where if someone repeats something enough times, my instinct is I don't know who you're trying to convince, me or you.
Yeah, I have a feeling like they shot multiple takes from multiple angles and just decided just throw them all out there. Just who cares?
They did that in this movie too. I don't know how many times I can go back to, Father, are you okay?
Are you okay,
are you okay, Father? Father, are you okay?
Okay, I have an important
Father.
question.
Yeah.
Did you find any information about the conception of this film? Did they find out about Deathbed, the bed that eats, and was like, what if we made it about a toilet?
No. So basically, for well over a decade, the two main actors in this movie would constantly joke about a movie called Death Toilet that they would pretend was a real movie that actually existed, and they would talk about it as such.
So no Deathbed, the bed that eats.
No, they were like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just make it. And there you go.
See, this is what I'm saying. Anything you start sarcastically eventually becomes sincere.
Yeah, don't say bro.
Yeah.
That gets stuck in your vocabulary forever. You're like, yeah, bro, as a joke. And then it's just there. And you're just that person now.
Yep, it's true.
So we're moving on to number 2 now. And number 2, hold on, let me just kind of summarize that. They do like the first 5 minutes are basically from the last movie, because why wouldn't it be? But this is where the priest, Father Dingleberry, comes up with a toilet demon tester kit. And he one of the things he has in there's like holy wipes.
Be clean. The power of the wipes compel you, the Father.
The power of wipes compels you. He said over and over again.
Did he get Dude Wipes product placement?
Of course not.
No, it was just like, no.
See, I was wondering if that's where we get our idea of virgin piss. You forgot about the virgin piss.
I did forget about the virgin piss.
How could you forget about the virgin piss?
Because I wiped my Pornhub history. I don't know.
So yeah, so basically that's the second movie. They go there. I guess the toilet pulls Brett into it somehow. And then he kind of turns into a zombie, but then they fight and toilet water explodes everywhere. And the priest, Father Dingleberry, ends up, I guess, drowning in the toilet water. Is how that movie ends, which is why he was dead in this movie. So if you ever find yourself stuck on the toilet, call in the SWAT team. So now it brings us to Death Toilet 3. Death Toilet 3. How are we feeling?
So in 1991, a movie came out about a killer refrigerator called The Refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
It took 4 years to make this movie. It's worse than Winter Beast, but better than this.
This movie probably took a weekend or two to make, and it cost them $500.
That's too much.
It honestly is. Did they make it on Windows Movie Maker?
Who knows? I mean, I don't know, but they also like would film music videos and edit them, so maybe they had some software already. I don't know.
All I know is
very different
that
editing.
That $500 was spent on the effects package, the explosion and laser effects package.
Oh, no spec. No, I figured this one out pretty soon. It was not, they didn't spend money on that. They went to YouTube and typed in laser green screen, and it's the fourth result.
Somehow that's even less impressive.
all of their video effects and sound effects are just on YouTube. Except for the fire effect, that one was on Pixabay. But everything else, I found them all. It took me 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, there was props. There was like the guns and stuff they had in this movie. There was the effect of the ground opening up. So there was
no. That's
they
also
probably donated some money to the church. Yeah, they donated some money to the church too. So you know,
so they didn't get permission. They rented the church.
Who knows what they did?
Oh, that makes sense. There's no way a Pentecostal church would let them in, but every church is for sale.
Absolutely, with a large enough donation, you know. Sure.
Hey, can I give you a couple $100 to shoot a movie in your toilet?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the Genesis song? Get on your knees and start paying.
Oh boy. So
Death Toilet knows me.
What do you want to say about this movie, Patrick? What do you want? We're back. We're now up to Death Toilet 3.
Death Toilet 3. So Death Toilet 3, which I watched. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're sitting on the couch, me and my wife.
Prepare to beat off.
She's playing Balatro.
Wow, that sounds like her.
All right.
I have declared, okay, I've got to watch Death Toilet 3. This is the only time this week. I gave her ample time. Like, I talked about it for like 15 minutes. Like, you had a chance to leave the room. She did not. I pressed play. It starts with that opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm texting you to the Discord chat, and Becca says, Patrick, you're missing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I restart it. And I watched we'll say the opening 2 minutes of this movie. Now, this movie opens with like outlines of places.
Yeah.
Yes.
Countries.
Russia, China, North Korea.
Some MS Paint. Yeah, that's a very interesting collection. It's US, Russia, China, North Korea? Like,
yes. Yeah, and it's a completely different bathroom every time because you can tell the poster's in a different spot, so it can't be the same bathroom.
Well,
so
also I was going to say that the Russia bathroom is also the same bathroom as his brother's house because the tile is the same.
No, it's just the same tile. It's a universal acknowledged tile. The posters were in different positions. It had to have been a different bathroom.
Patrick.
Yeah.
So the implication for the viewer is that this person, the main character,
Brett
is
Baxter.
traveling. Brett Baxter.
You have to remember his name. They keep saying it so you won't forget.
Brett Baxter sounds like Ben Shapiro's main character in that novel where he wanted to fuck that dude.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he wrote the one book where he was like Brett Hawthorne, yeah, and it's like, and he's like, he describes him as like a 6 foot tall bear of a man. I'm like, Jesus, Ben, get a room. But you can write with both your hands. But
you should see his version on the Kindle App Store.
The implication for the viewer is that Brett Baxter is going from country to country, tracking down evil demon toilets and killing them. He is doing this by pointing a fake gun at a toilet, shooting it, and then the digital effect pack of like the worst explosion you've ever seen fills the screen. Just smoke, just like
apropos
black
of
smoke.
nothing.
Boom, boom, boom. And it's like 3 or 4 in a row. And this is rapid fire. Country, guy, shoot, explosion. Country, guy, shoot, explosion. And like by the second one, it dawned on me that he was going to YouTube for these effects. And I'm watching this devoid of any kind of like sense of reasoning or purpose. And I'm staring at the screen. And within 2 minutes, I had taken off my glasses and was standing up in the middle of the room, completely baffled by what I have seen. The last movie that I had this reaction to was Malignant, but at least I had I was like, but at least that was a good movie. I was like, you can't do that. And I'm looking at this one for the same thing going, you can't do that. Like, but in a completely different direction. And the movie kept going. And like, it doesn't really match that energy ever again, because then it's just boring and it doesn't know what to do with itself. But that's how Death Toilet starts, is he's going through country to country shooting the toilet. Now I want to paint a picture here.
I've painted a picture. I'm picturing Sam Neill in Jurassic Park. I'm picturing you as him as this movie starts, just taking your glasses off and looking at the TV going, what? Okay, go ahead. It's the picture I have in my mind.
I'm glad that you called me Sam Neill in this comparison, but I actually feel like Sam Neill in Event Horizon.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Jesus, dude. Like, the movie just loses all of its steam basically immediately. I mean, but to paint a picture for the viewer, this movie is shot on like an iPhone I feel like it was shot on first generation iPhones at the time. Either that or it was shot on handy cams. It is the worst depth of field, the worst lighting. It looks like a whole movie you would submit to America's Funniest Home Videos. There is no production value whatsoever. And I need everyone to understand that going forward. No production value, all YouTube video effects and sound effects. And I'm pretty sure if this wasn't shot on Movie Maker, edited on Movie Maker, it would have probably been edited on like Pinnacle, like the lowest of the bar that you could grab.
The lowest and the freest.
Yeah, it was probably shot cut. That's completely free. And it was filmed. They actually had to stop filming for the pandemic, because it was filming was right in the middle of the pandemic. So
yeah, I noticed the COVID distancing on the Pentecostal church pews.
That might have changed something.
Oh, is that how they were able to get into the church?
Well, because if you saw, like, every other pew was blocked off, and there were these weird orange dots.
Yeah,
it took me a second.
Right.
COVID distancing.
Yeah. I just assumed it was a Jesus thing. I have a question.
You never know with that guy.
How do you think pandemic safety precautions affected the shoot of a film that has 3 people involved in total?
Oh, I'm sure they had to make all sorts of changes. This movie's,
they were able to walk around Santa Ana without permit.
Yeah, there's probably no cars on the road.
I got it. The cameraman was wearing a mask. You just couldn't see it.
Okay, yeah, but what about the second unit cameraman?
It's the same guy.
This is why you needed to have the second unit, because they weren't all able to film at the same time. I think the second unit was just a shotgun video.
Okay, behind the scenes when Patrick enlisted my help, the incredulity of like, Spec, you have to see this. It was because they deigned to put second unit director in their opening credits. And then I watched the movie and I was like, how dare they say they had a second unit director?
Well, I mean, technically, legally, I think that they did. I mean, I'm sure it's all up to union. It's fine.
I don't think there was a union involved in this.
I don't know.
Plumbers.
But he wasn't a plumber. He was a contractor. Because the plumber didn't do his job. Diego didn't do his job.
This is, yeah. Wait, real quick. I did forget to mention that in part 2, he became a race car driver for a little bit and then decided.
Goddamn, what the fuck do you mean?
Who became a race car driver?
Brett Baxter. Who else?
No, he did not.
Yes, he gave. That's what he did. He decided to become a race car driver.
I want to review.
You should see the shots, because it actually has him walking into a race as a fan in the crowd, obviously watching the competition. Not that he's just, some schmuck that happens to be at a race.
Okay. Can we do a psychological profile on the person who decides to make Death Toilet 3 as a lark, but also uses it as a vehicle for wish fulfillment?
Well, I mean, if
you're already making a movie, you might as well.
Yeah. You might as well make 3 of them.
Oh, well, I was going to say, you're already on the 3rd. I mean, It's not getting any worse.
Yeah, make 6 of them. Why not?
So, okay. I mean, another movie that has killer appliances, The Mangler, got to 3 movies. That's a movie about an evil laundry press.
Right.
But at least that's based on a Stephen King story, so there is a plot. What's the plot?
There was probably a plot in the first one, and then by the third one, it just gone. No, the plot to this one is there's an evil toilet. Patrick, didn't you not pay attention? I do want to talk about this movie, although, in all complete honesty, this movie probably has better continuity between its third part with the first and second than almost any movie that we've watched. There's references, there's plot lines that continue from part 1 to 2 to 3. There's actual, hey, it's the same actors in all of them. I mean,
be that as it may, did you not say that Brett Baxter was dead at the end of the first movie?
No, he just got his throat sliced, but it wasn't a fatal slice. He's fine.
Oh yes, those non-fatal throat slices.
Yeah, because in part 2, he actually has his neck wrapped up in toilet paper to help with the clotting.
The thing about this movie is it is incredibly boring, intercut by intense moments of bafflement. Like, you won't be paying attention, and then all of a sudden they'll do something like have a Fallout 76 POV flashback, and you're like, what? And all of a sudden they're in Vietnam, maybe? And there's a baby toilet? And you're like, what? You gonna explain this to me? No.
Nope.
No.
I will say that I think the sign of the demonic toilet possession would be that the toilet paper was upside down.
Yeah, so serious question here. Which way do you guys roll your toilet paper? Do you go for the beard or the mullet?
Now, I don't think that's an appropriate question to ask a lady, but, we're friends.
Yeah. I just don't know which way. I'm beard. I like it. It rolls down to the front, not to the back.
I was gonna say, preferably over the top, but I do have a cat, so depending on how feisty she's being, like if she's just really into it, then it's got to go over the back, so that she doesn't create a mess.
Yeah, no, over the top, but I keep the door shut to try to keep the cat out most of the time for that reason.
Yeah, my cat doesn't care. He's just busy eating plastic.
No, my cat specifically is more into trying to eat the toilet paper rolls that aren't on the ones on the tree. To get to she'll get to the stacked up rolls and just try to eat them instead.
My cat is like Dustin's, where she wants to eat the plastic that the toilet paper is kept in more than the toilet paper itself. She will find plastic that I didn't even know was in the house.
Yeah, all of a sudden
you're like, where? I thought I fixed this.
Because then in about 10 minutes it's going to be
thrown up all over the floor.
I had a ex-girlfriend, and I always did the toilet paper in the beard, and she always did it in the mullet style, and she kept yelling at me to change that, and she got upset. So I said, "Baby, that's just the way I roll."
Oh God.
That was a setup from
Jim. That one hurt. That one was actually painful.
So, do you remember in the beginning when the guy with the red hair wig sits on the toilet and gets his balls chopped off? That was the same guy that got his balls chopped off in the first movie.
No, I know. He was also the contractor. And his brother.
And he's the director.
And he's the second unit director.
No, the second unit director is the priest.
See, I wasn't by that point. I was barely paying attention to names. I can't be asked.
Well, they couldn't be asked. So
yeah, the guy that I guess I don't know if I should fair warn you about this or not, but the guy that played the priest just died in a car accident last year. So all the bad shit you had to say about him, I don't know if you want to. I mean, this whole movie is basically, like you said, it's 5 minutes stretched out. Like there's this scene where he's trying to sell the house, which is really just an apartment, and he opens up this folder that just says mortgage papers. So he's like, obviously, I'm selling the house.
So that the listeners aren't adrift, the overall plot is evil toilet. Guy thinks he's rid the world of evil toilets, selling his brother's house. Turns out the toilet's still evil. As part of the house sale, they are specifically selling a used toilet to a church.
And I like when the guy comes in and starts yelling about it on the phone. That
we're treated to a scene of the toilet in the church,
which we have to assume is the same toilet, even though they look nothing alike.
Yeah, nothing alike. It's the church bathroom. Did you notice the cameraman in the bowl?
No,
I noticed the cameraman in a lot of places. You're gonna have to be a little more specific.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying the clear reflection of the cameraman is staring at you from the toilet bowl when he's trying to get this close up. The only thing is I couldn't quite tell the camera being used, and it drives me nuts. But I was close.
I would be amazed if it was actually a camera, not just a phone.
It was a camera.
It was a camera because phones have better resolution than this movie.
So it was a camera from like mid-90s. Okay.
I would be shocked, or rather I would not be shocked to learn that they were filming this on mini DVs.
That's what I filmed 2 Cups, 1 Girl on, was mini DV.
Jesus God.
Did you watch that yet?
Hey, don't make him send you the file.
Yeah. It was hilarious and wrong and all sorts of bad stuff. But
I haven't even touched on how much I need to cut out of that episode.
Well, all right. So let's get back to this movie here. We're in the church. He's in the bathroom, and it's a damn good thing that the bathroom door wasn't locked. Otherwise, he'd have to find somebody with the dookie to let him out.
That joke was shit.
Nope. Not funny. Too forced. You forced that one.
Oh, the fart alarm's going off.
I like how the fart is part of the alarm.
Yes. And one of the advertisements about part 4 is that all of the farts are real. I don't know if part 3, there was a lot of them that do sound real, but there's some of them, I don't know. I don't
think any of them were real.
They all from YouTube. God damn.
No, there were a couple of real farts in there.
You have to prove that to me.
I'll get Brett Baxter on the phone. He'll prove it to you. I don't think you want that.
No, I don't. I would not be kind to that man.
And guess who our surprise guest is, Patrick? No, I'm just kidding.
Hi, Brett. Can you please explain why?
Brett, explain now.
Somehow, some way, I'm gonna make sense of all of it.
I don't think the truck maintenance he was doing throughout the film was part of the movie.
I don't think he was doing truck maintenance.
No, I think he just they needed filler because
why?
I don't know.
What, like, there's nothing in this movie. Why make filler? Why not just make it 5 minutes long and put it on YouTube and have more people watch it because they could Google death toilet. I mean,
because we don't live in 2013 anymore, Patrick.
They don't know that clearly from watching this film.
No, my problem is it's the wrong kind of filler, right? Like, this is a horror movie and only one guy dies. One of them gets brought back to life.
No. The one guy gets the redhead guy in there gets his balls cut off, and then his head and his legs and his feet and everything. So he dies.
Anybody else?
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
But the toilet didn't do it.
This is true because he's sitting in church having flashbacks of war. So I think he's like dreaming of going pew pew while he's sitting in a pew.
Okay.
Dustin, we call that a no sell.
I hope you keep them all in here, Patrick.
No, I'm not cutting a single one of these. They're all staying.
This is for you.
The joke and the no but instead of the yes and. They're all staying. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's talk about filler because we're an hour in. Let's talk. We'll talk about this filler. So in the movie Killer Sofa, which despite the name, it's actually about about an evil lazy boy, not an evil sofa. They've had time by having the main character try to have sex with the sofa, and I feel like that was more engaging than this.
It showed a desire of the characters, right? There was agency, like there was
rose petals.
Goals. ways to meet those goals, you know.
Yeah, and like, what's going on in this movie? I'm not saying you needed to fuck the toilet. I'm just saying be creative.
I think you wanted him to fuck a toilet, is what you're saying.
It'd be more interesting.
You could actually play Toilet Love over the soundtrack of this. I don't think Jane County's walking around trying to sue people.
Would you believe that audio was recorded back in May? How very timely. Weirdly prescient recording, especially from our show. I mean, did you hear that J.D. Vance asked his wife for an open relationship? So she made him sleep on the couch. You know, Vance was one of the original investors in Lovesac, though his vision for the company was somewhat different. Vance's parents taught him to practice safe sex, which is why all the furniture in his house has slipcovers. J.D. Vance says he's about wholesome family values, but if you listen closely to his message, you'll find a lot of unsavory stuff couched in there. Okay, all right. Vance's friends asked him where he bought his ottoman. Vance said he made it, but it took 9 months. Vance claims he doesn't use sex toys, but the doctor who had to extract the TV from his couch cushion says otherwise. All right, we have fun here. But now, a word from our sponsors. Ashley Home Furniture.
I feel like if he wanted to have sex with the toilet, like there's some sort of masturbation joke there. Like it has precedence, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't come prepared with any masturbation jokes.
Oh, God, that was right down the tubes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, Dustin, that I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, you were not the first person to say that tonight.
This one's off the rails, guys.
Well, it's gone.
Can you imagine it would stay on the rails?
No.
Death Toilet 3.
I tried to convince Patrick to watch all 3 of these, and I was like, we're going to need all the material we can get. I really just wanted you to watch all 3 of them.
So
I did too.
You sent a 12-minute video, and I watched it about at 10 o'clock before we started recording.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot you sent that.
I honestly could have trimmed that down to about a 3.5-minute video.
You think?
Good editors know that nothing deserves to be in there.
I left some of those extremely long scenes just to really drive the point of it.
He left the intermission. The film had a joke intermission, and he left it in.
Yeah. Well, you had to get. I didn't want to say it's just an intermission for 2 minutes. I wanted you to feel that 2-minute intermission.
Well, joke's on you. I didn't actually watch it. I just skipped.
Yeah, but I made you think about it.
Yeah,
so you had to watch it. And you know what? They do the intermission in part 2 as well.
So you're saying we've upgraded the third movie that there is no intermission.
Yeah, they also have like a fart timer in part 2.
Unless you count the entire scene in the car after the father gets resurrected as an intermission, because that whole thing can be skipped.
Yeah, you think that might have been a little long?
They could have pinched that one off early.
Oh, nice. But I'm bummed.
So Brett Baxter is a Vietnam War veteran.
Apparently.
Now they have flashbacks throughout this film. Most of them, I wrote down, what is this duck hunt looking shit? But really, it's like a POV video game where you're literally seeing from the perspective of a fake gun.
Call of Duty, if you will.
I said Fallout 76.
As he walks through the California countryside, and attempts to make it look like a far-off war somewhere. Yeah, Vietnam specifically. And honestly, the movie House does this better, and it does not do the flashback very well because it's a haunted house with monster Muppets. But
which house are we talking about?
Houseu.
No,
not Houseu.
So there are 2 movies called House. There's the American horror movie franchise House, about a Vietnam War vet who may or may not have been responsible for the death of his son, writing a horror novel in a haunted house. That's the one I'm talking about. The better movie is Houseu, which
I would beg to differ. House is pretty good.
Have you seen Houseu?
No, but I don't need to because House is really good.
That's why you think the other one is better.
House is on my list to watch.
It's deranged. No movie is more unhinged than House.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
This is me saying I have never seen a movie that's more unhinged than House.
It's a late 70s Japanese movie. It kind of,
look, the fact that you said late 70s should clue you into what kind of buck wild you're in for.
It's harder to create that much shock today.
It's not shocking. It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not about shock value. It's about derangement. It's insanity. Mm-hmm. It's more unhinged than the 1980s horror movie Battle Heater, a Japanese film about an evil space heater. Again, better than Death Toilet.
Patrick, I'm going to ask this now. How many other movies do you have in your back pocket that's just killer appliance?
There's a couple different movies about evil refrigerators that I haven't listed. There's a couple movies about an evil elevator. There's Rape Stove, the stove that rapes.
I'm sorry, what now?
Rape Stove?
That's a Patton Oswalt joke. I just wanted to get it in there.
What?
Again, late 70s, I'd believe it.
Some people on YouTube tried to reenact the film as a YouTube short. Again, terrible idea, but a better execution of the concept of what Death Toilet should be.
All right.
That's strictly like appliances, right? But like, evil inanimate objects, you've got Maximum Overdrive, you've got Slacks about an evil pair of pants. I mean, we can go the distance here.
Does rubber count though?
Kind of. It fits the.
I guess.
I mean, it's a sentient telekinetic tire trying to blow up people's heads, which sounds cool until you realize the movie's not about that. It's a meta movie about watching movies and like people eating poison chicken. Like if have you seen Rubber?
I did a while ago. I just didn't really watch much of it. I think I was probably under the influence of something. Yeah.
It's more navel gazy than you would expect.
Yeah, like if it was about a psychic tire, if it was really about a psychic tire blowing up people's heads, I'd be all over that movie. But like, it's so.
I just remember a bunch of people just sitting on like a cliff watching things.
Yes, because they're watching the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I did see it.
Okay, if you're in film school while you watch it, it's the best thing ever. But if you're just Joe Schmo watching a movie, it's a little high on its own supply.
Gotcha.
You would think it could be a good movie to make while you were in film school, though, which might explain why it exists.
Probably. There's some movies I contend are just for film school people.
Yeah. Like, and you had mentioned some appliance movies.
Anything by Gaspar Noé, right?
You had mentioned Maximum Overdrive in your movies. There is a movie that Mike Hartsfield, the guy who plays Brett Baxter, and Evan Jacobs directed. They're doing a movie called Maximum Stroller Drive about a killer stroller going on a spree of carnage in America.
That rattles me.
God dang it. I hate that I laughed.
Yeah, no thought into that one. Off the dome. How many more you've got written there, Dustin?
What's your tight 5 look like?
Oh, wait, I can write these down? All I have written down are just fart noises.
How do you spell that?
I spelled it fart alarm. That's what it's labeled as on my little soundboard here. Fart alarm.
There's this moment during the flashback to Vietnam where I'm kind of into it, where they've got way too many visual effects slapped on top of each other and we're kind of morphing in and out of different shots. And I'm like, if more of the movie was this, I could see it being something. But then I remember, this is entirely done because they don't know how to blend these shots together because they don't cut together. And so they're like, instead of cutting to things that don't cut together, we'll just do this weird, blend. And so it's completely to cover up bad filmmaking as opposed to any sort of artistic aesthetic choice.
No, that was just COVID. They couldn't do it like they wanted to. No, that's not true at all. I'm just making excuses.
No, I know. I could feel the guy with the microphone in front of him energy you were going with. I felt it.
Yeah. 2 things to point out about this flashback. Obviously, the fake blood from the headshot is fantastic. It's so bad. But this flashback culminates in a scene in which they have to defuse. Oh, the joke is we're defusing a mine, but what they're actually doing is killing a baby evil toilet, which is a small toilet, and to do that, they need. Did you snap the audio from this?
I didn't snap the audio for this one.
Sure, you're gonna make me say it. Well,
Yes.
Spectre already said it twice. I guess I'll jump on the bomb.
Don't jump on it. Give it virgin piss.
Give it virgin piss. They need virgin piss.
Jump on the virgin pee.
They need virgin piss to defeat this. So he asked one of the squad members to give him virgin piss, and then in a jackass-like scene, somebody is pretending to pee off to the side, and they're like pissing all over him while he's trying to get it in the tubes, like Johnson or whatever the fuck his name was. Like, and he's getting drenched in piss.
And that didn't make you laugh at all?
No, because I've seen Jackass and he did it better by actually pissing on someone's POV.
My thing is like they have so many takes that they just throw in there, and yet they couldn't find a better take.
He was laughing. It was making me laugh. He was just sitting there trying to be all serious. He just kept laughing. That's good stuff.
That's so funny because my wife was like, "This is what happens when men who never matured past the age of 10 make a movie."
And she's right.
And she walked out the room and didn't come back.
Oh, that was what did it? That was the line too far.
You mentioned juvenile humor. Like I said, the guy who's the main actor, his name is Brett Hartsfield. His Twitter name is Brett Fartsfield.
His name's Mike.
Mike Fartsfield. that was it. And he has it like in a little the virgin pee in a little plunger that he has to stick in the toilet, and
then it explodes.
And then it explodes, yeah.
Which for the movie means absolutely nothing, because what actually is important is right after this flashback scene, we get Ghost Priest.
Yeah, so he's having this flashback in the church, and then the spirit of Father
Dingleberry.
Okay,
Dingleberry?
good.
Yep.
Good.
You can call him Father D or Fathered.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, Marcus Dingleberry.
Marcus Dingleberry shows up to tell him how to defeat the toilet bowl. Now, I have a question before we get into this. If he's in a church and having a moment of reflection in the house of God, why is the ghost of a dead toilet priest coming to him and telling him how to defeat the monster? Why didn't God come down and tell him how to defeat the evil shit bowl? Bad filmmaking.
No, because you're not supposed to look upon the image of God.
Gary Busey is available.
Yes, he is.
Well, I mean, because obviously God works in mysterious ways. And don't you know that all things work together for the good?
Yeah. So God told the Father Dingleberry that he needed to get the
to perform a satanic ritual.
Call upon the ancient scrolls.
Call upon the ancient scrolls.
Spec has the point. God,
the priest came before him and told him to perform a satanic ritual.
Well, I mean, it's questionable, but I mean, who are we to question?
I question. I am the viewer. I question.
I'm a heathen. I question everything. A brief recap of the film. We saw him hunting toilets. He thinks he's rid the world of evil toilets. But it turns out that, oh no, there is another evil toilet, and it's been sold to this church. He is performing maintenance on a truck, and then his evil toilet alarm detects the toilet in the church. He walks into the sanctuary in a daze, has a flashback.
You can keep talking. I'll just for the viewers, the listeners, to get a feel of the alarm going off. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's not going to go in. And then while he has the flashback, then the spirit of a dead priest shows up and tells him to practice witchcraft in order to defeat the toilet bowl, the evil shitter. I have a side goal though, or side thought. The fart detection machine that tells him where the evil toilet is, right? It is essentially a walkie-talkie, which they then shoot a still frame of and put black text over to say "evil toilet" close by. Very bad toilet near here. It serves the purpose of those ecto detectors in the Ghostbuster movies. However, he said he invented it when he was talking to Father Dingleberry recently in the interim between scenes 2 and 3. So they didn't have this in the previous 2 movies, and they made it up for this one. And for some reason, the audacity of making this terrible effect all the way in the 3rd movie pisses me off to no end. And
Yeah,
they couldn't even bother like tracking the screen on it either, or like keeping it up there anytime it's on there. It's like there's a shot where it's got the little black screen and text like "Get help, you can't do this, whatever, bad toilet," and then it just fades off, and I'm like, why would you do that?
Well, I mean, $500 just doesn't go as far as it used to.
You could cut.
Yes.
You don't need to show it go away. You could just cut to the next face. We know that the thing said very bad toilet. Cut to his worried face. He's worried about the very bad toilet. You don't need to have the effect. You just need to know that the ability to not show a scene is within your grasp.
I love this.
The thing is, like, he could have, like,
gracious.
You could have just printed something out and, like, taped it to the front of it, and it would look better.
It would.
Yeah. Or you could just refer to it without showing the message at all.
Yeah, you don't even have to show the front of it. You could just say, it says this is where the evil toilet is. Why? We didn't need that.
Yeah.
I mean, they also don't need to chroma key the worst explosion effects ever. They could use a smoke effect and turn it into a screen.
Hey, that's just straight value.
Yeah.
Production value.
I'm using there dollars to donuts. I am probably using a fake smoke effect that I got for free on this YouTube video. And it's a better effect than the explosion. Although we should find these effects and put them in shorts and for promotional material.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes, that is a good idea.
Yeah. So the lasers are great because they're just straight beams and they just
right.
Okay, but I'm jumping ahead. But in the final battle, is it implying that anything blue, like the lightning, the lasers, is from God, and anything red is from evil toilet? Like, are we working on Star Wars logic here?
We might be. I mean, they gotta define, I guess, make you see what's good or evil. I don't know.
All I know is there's this weird thing in the final battle that is also way too long, where apparently the priest has, I don't know, force powers. All of a sudden, he can shoot lightning from his hand and lasers out of his eyes.
Maybe it had happened. Maybe he got that when he was resurrected. I don't know. Could be. I'm going to play the audio from this, and just so everybody knows, I'm not playing multiple pieces of audio on top of each other. This was actually how they decided that it would be great to sound. Hold on. I love it so much. It's so fucking terrible.
But you missed the part where the horse whinnies apropos of nothing.
That was also that was a callback to part 1, where like the priest's head just does a freeze frame, and it's like me for no reason.
I don't want to be a naysayer, but I don't think they planned this out very well.
Oh, they planned it. They planned it out very, very well. I mean, they planned it out just as well as, like you mentioned, Star Wars. Star Trek also had a lot of good planning. Like, did you know that they put a toilet on the Enterprise, even though they never showed it, but it's there?
I mean, it is better thought out than the original 3 Star Wars movies. I'll give you that, because they had no idea what they were doing from movie to movie. But you know,
yeah, but you know what's in the toilet is the captain's log.
Okay.
So we did skip over a very pivotal scene, I have to say.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We were talking about the end of the movie, which is they exercise the toilet again. But what actually happens after the church, in between these 2 points, another thing happens. Can you believe it? A thing happens in this movie. An actual thing. Honest to goodness events happen. Kind of. So he's going to go and resurrect Father Taint and
Dingleberry.
Dingleberry.
Right.
Close enough.
The taint is on his soul. Right. Okay. So Marcus Dingleberry, he's going to go resurrect him. Now, there's a couple really interesting things to point out for this scene. So he goes to the cemetery. No, he really goes to a real cemetery, whom I don't believe was informed of what was happening.
Absolutely not.
Because its cemetery would never allow you to shoot Death Toilet 3 on its grounds.
No, I think it was the same cemetery they shot Death Toilet 1 in as well.
I mean, you could argue this is showing a lot of disrespect for the dead.
Yeah,
well, the good news is they don't show the names of anybody actually buried there.
No, just a claymation of whatever.
They only shoot a couple of establishing scenes here. The actual scene of the close-up of Father Dingleberry's grave is on the sidewalk next to somebody's house. You can tell because it is a close-up of the fake tombstone, of the obviously fake tombstone. It's when I say that, the tombstone takes up 90% of the screen with 10% of clearly of a sidewalk and lawn right off to the left. But like, because they were like, well, if we just get the frame in tight enough, they won't be able to tell that it's not the tombstone. We know, but it gets
the Kuleshov effect. It's the Kuleshov effect.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's made out of Play-Doh.
I know I don't want to distract from the scene where he reads the Ancient Scrolls, but I will say, as he's reading the Ancient Scrolls and the father raises from the dead, it shoots out to a wide shot, and they're next to a fence somewhere that they have covered with a sheet. It's just a sheet. This scene is in black and white. And the father is trying to pretend to claw his way up the ground, but you can clearly see they just draped a sheet over a fence. Now, what you could have done instead is made sure that sheet was at least green or blue, keyed out the color, and then imposed the cemetery right there. It would have taken next to no effort to do that, and then they could have applied their black and white filter over the top. Am I wrong in that?
You're not wrong, but also you've put entirely more thought into this scene than the filmmakers have.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
true.
like, is it going to take them more than 3 minutes to edit that? Because they're busy guys. They don't have time for that.
I am all for guerrilla filmmaking, but this is beyond the pale.
I've seen gorillas make better films.
Must we mention the Ancient Scrolls? It's like,
I feel like Dustin's going to want to talk about the Ancient Scrolls.
Dustin, do you have anything to say about the Ancient Scrolls?
Well, so the Ancient Scrolls are a roll of toilet papers and with really generic bathroom jokes, like stuff that you would see written on bathroom walls, such as, "Here I sit brokenhearted, tried to shit but only farted." And these are the words that he needs to say in order to resurrect Father Dingleberry with a plunger.
He plunges him out of the grave.
And he's covered in toilet paper like a mummy.
The wrong plunger, by the way. To use a toilet plunger is the one that looks like an accordion. The other plunger is a sink plunger.
Yeah, most people don't know that.
Yeah, most people haven't had to use them.
Or they do, and they're like, "This fucking plunger doesn't work." Yeah,
most people just call someone for that instead of being self-sufficient and learning how to plunge your own toilet.
Are we done with? What are we doing? All right, where are we at?
Well, okay, so we did the Ancient Scrolls, right? And then we talked about, did we have anything else to say about the scrolls or the final battle?
I mean, it was just a bunch of shit happening. It was really not...
Unfortunately, I would call that an insult to shit.
Yeah, it's very weird. And they do have this scene right before the end scene of them driving back in the truck. And I would have cut the audio for that, but I mean, we all might have just walked off of this podcast. It was like 5 minutes of 3 seconds of dialogue repeated in different ways over and over again.
The priest is just mumbling. Not mumbling. No, he's just making zombie noises
for some of it. Yeah, because he's been dead for 1.5 years.
What I'll say, we can reenact it. Okay, who wants to be the priest?
I volunteer as tribute.
Okay, so Father, Are you okay, Father? Are you okay, Father? How are you, Father?
I drank the juice.
You're gonna be okay, Father. You're gonna be okay. We have to defeat the evil, Father.
And then he's like, "But you're not saying anything, Father. You're just saying you're not saying anything.
You have to save them. Tell me." And at this point, the father's trying to exit a moving vehicle.
It kept cutting to footage of birds too.
I don't take one of those cuts, leave them in there. Done. Move on.
But even with that, there's no information given. It doesn't drive the plot forward. Why?
Well, because he was a zombie priest, I guess.
But it had no effect on the rest of the film, let's say. Like, there are moments in this film where I'm like, okay, maybe they're going somewhere with this, which is, on me, my mistake.
This is not a movie you go to for answers.
No.
Today's show is brought to you by GoFundMe's, the only crowdsourced subscription underwear box. Each month, you get a carefully curated box of donated, lightly used underwear. Our eco-friendly company helps the planet by upcycling previously loved undergarments for your comfort at no overhead for us. Are they quality materials? Who's to say? Are they durable? Not anymore. Are they overpriced? You betcha. GoFundMe's. Subscribe today. Wow. An ad for an underwear subscription service. Just like a real podcast. Oh, hey. It looks like someone left a voicemail in our inbox. Let's just see what they have to say. Dustin!
So you've got the final battle.
They do the final battle.
They exorcise the demon from the toilet. Again, still better than the Exorcist Believer. And then I'm
going to send him that quote, by the way.
Yeah,
actually, yeah. Seriously, quotation marks. Better than the Exorcist Believer, found on Shelf Podcast.
You put that in their what is it? Letterboxd review.
The truth of the matter is, more people will probably read that website than find our podcast organically. We might get some boost.
Hey, that's SEO, baby.
It's right.
At the end, the father and and Brett
Son?
look at each other.
The Holy Ghost.
Oh yeah, they cleanse the toilet.
They cleanse the toilet. They look at each other.
And the logical is okay. This is the end of the movie. They've cleansed the toilet.
This house is clean.
Power of wipes compels you.
Why didn't they say they cleaned the toilet?
Oh, that'd been so much smarter.
Well, they decide to go have a beach scene.
They look at each other and like, I'm really tired. You know what I could use? What could you use, Father?
Beach day.
Beach day. At this point, I was like, sure. Why the hell not? Beach day.
See? Exactly.
I equal parts liked and hated this.
Yes.
Yeah. It just went on too long.
Yeah, and then they go to the beach, and they have a grand old time throwing a frisbee around. The baby toilet's there sunning.
No. That was a sexy lady toilet.
I think that was a sexy lady toilet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've misjudged this toilet.
Yeah. Well,
that was your first mistake. You underestimated the toilet.
Right.
You never want to underestimate the toilet.
I hate when you're sitting on the beach and there's always like a toilet in the background of your pictures. It's like, you just walk up to it and you're like, hey, you're in all the pictures.
I don't even think that was a joke.
I don't know what that was.
Spit all over the mic.
I've had quite a bit of whiskey tonight, so I blame that.
I'm sober and mad.
See, I told you you watched the movie wrong. See, you messed. Rule 1, you went into it sober, and you went into it expecting a movie. That was your 2. I should have warned you. Go into this expecting 3 minutes of jokes stretched out to an hour.
Yeah, I think we should expand the gamut of found on shelf. They don't all have to be movies because it clearly aren't.
I mean, this was a movie. I mean, they sell a DVD of part 5. Like, you could actually buy a DVD of the Death Toilet trilogy.
You could buy a DVD of forklift safety tips too. It doesn't mean it's a movie.
They have a part 3 of it?
Probably. I don't know. I learned how to drive a forklift at 14. I don't know what proper safety is.
One thing I do wish that they should have done at the end on the beach scene, they totally blew the opportunity for a freeze frame ending
of a toilet rising out of the waves, because that's what they should have done.
No, of them like playing frisbee, and then you just like have that 80s freeze frame, like.
But then you can't set up for the next movie,
which they do by having the toilet alert start going off and be like bad toilet or whatever.
Yep, the toilet alarm. Yep, that goes off.
But I feel like that alarm should go off every time someone doesn't wash their hands.
Damn it! You took about my capper. I was going to say no one in this entire movie washed their hands.
And we know it was filmed during COVID times.
Yes, this is true. You took away his capper, they took away your crapper. That was about the end of the movie, really. That was it, huh? They did the thing, and then that's it. Movie.
That was a movie? I don't know. The day after I watched this, I had a moment where I was like, why did I watch that? Why did I do that?
why do they hate me?
That's my entire life.
The movie on on a Tuesday, Wednesday came around, and after lunch, I'm sitting there going like, I watched Death Toilet 3 yesterday. Why did I do that?
And you got a little sad about it too, didn't you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I've watched 4 of them.
Well, look, I don't think capacity for enduring torture is necessarily a valiant trait.
It's a trait.
Self-harm is not something we should be promoting.
But you can stream this movie for free. So all it costs you is 55 minutes of your time.
No stream jokes here? Sure, there's a piss joke there with that, right?
Jesus Christ, Patrick. We're not juvenile here. Come on. So, can I tell you a little bit about the guys that made this movie?
Yeah. Regale us with the stories of the guys who pretended Death Toilet was a movie so hard that they made it true.
90 minutes into our podcast on Death Toilet 3. Yeah, tell us about how they made the movie.
So I've told you about the director, who is the guy. He hasn't really directed much else besides like some music videos and a bunch of other movies that they've done. So he's just a buddy with the camera, basically. But Mike Hartsfield, or Fartsfield as he has on his thing, he
has written an extensive line of erotica about Brett Baxter.
No, but he is a self-proclaimed dipshit.
I mean, self-awareness is good to have, but now Patrick has me going to AO3.
So he started out his career running a record label called New Age Records in 1988, which was a Southern California hardcore punk rock straight edge. Yes.
Nice.
Brett Baxter and Father Dingleberry are straight edge punk stars.
That does not surprise me.
There was no alcohol. Maybe if there was alcohol or drugs involved, it might be better movies.
It would be interesting.
I feel like they would have come up with more jokes. As a fellow straight edge, I feel like it reflects poorly on the sober people.
Yeah, there's not always the best representation in a community. Sometimes it happens. But he was in bands. I don't know if you ever heard of Outspoken, Amendment 18, Done Dying, Free Will, Dear Furious. I've never heard of any of those bands, but they're bands apparently, according to their website, and it's still in operation, so you can still go to that.
Are they bands in the sense that they're bands, or are they bands in the sense that Death Toilet is a movie?
They're bands in the sense that they're underground punk rock bands.
So actually, yes, in the sense that Death Toilet is a movie, because I've listened to a lot of underground punk, and like not all of it's music.
Yeah. So he started smoking at the age of 10, and he was drinking by the age of 12. And was like, you know what, this isn't the life for me. So he went straight edge. He also was involved in the early 2000s with something called the Extreme Pro Wrestling League. Are you familiar with the Extreme Pro Wrestling?
I am aware of ECW.
Yeah, oh, this is more extreme than that. It was a company that was ran by the guy that also ran a company called Extreme Associates.
Okay, is it like Extreme Lawyers? Do they like prosecute cases with like the American Gladiator toothpicks?
Why do I feel like
this
is? Why do I feel like this is like a porn thing?
It is an indie porn company that mainly focuses on things like humiliation and rape fantasies and really kind of the bad side of. The guy's wife is involved in the company and did movies as well. I don't know. It's weird. Not the guy. Not Brett Baxter, but that. Yeah.
It's more like foreshadowing.
Yeah. And at one point, the Extreme Associates were working with a guy named Shane Bugby from the Church of Satan, who directed
So here's I'm going to pause.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with Satanists. However, the Church of Satan is an organization filled with a lot of assholes.
Yeah.
Unrelated to Satanism, separate concept. The Anton LaVey was a dick. And this is different than is it the Temple of Satan that does all of the activism? Just an aside on like occultism at large.
Yes.
Also, I feel like we kind of skipped past it, but I am not here to kink shame people or to judge the type of porn they like watching. So like, if you're into non-consent productions, as long as the actors involved are aware of what they're doing and agreed to do it, like, I'm not here to judge people.
Oh, but they had lawsuits brought up against them for certain things. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then forget everything I just said.
The company itself was not the greatest. And like the Church of Satan guy made a series of films called Club Satan. And this is where your homework comes in. I had asked you guys, what do you think could happen that would cause the crew and cast to walk off the set of a porn shoot?
I said they didn't get paid.
All right.
Does it involve animals?
No.
Well, then I'm terrified, Dustin. I'm absolutely terrified.
Is this something we can keep in the podcast?
Well, I'll let Patrick be the judge of that.
I'm going to say no.
So the director had asked the actor to ejaculate upon and then smash the model of a Jesus Christ head.
Oh, that's not that bad.
That's not that bad.
Not that bad. Not that, but pretty bad, but not that bad. There was no one hurt. But yeah, they were like, that's just too much. We're not doing this.
That was the line?
I feel like there's some performance artists that have done worse.
Yeah.
There's a movie called The Devils that goes farther than that. You're fine.
Yeah. So that was what made a lot of people walk off set.
Really?
That's at least what they said. I mean, who knows what else might have happened.
I feel like that's the kind of story where there was more going on in the background, and like that was just the final straw,
Look, they didn't tell the Pentecostal church what they were filming when they agreed.
So yeah, back to Mike. He's
just Carmen in the background going, "We need God in America."
Where's that righteous invasion of truth he promised?
God. No, thank you. I don't want to think about that anymore. I was not a big fan of Riot.
I like how we squicked him out with Carmen.
I'm surprised that's his line is Carmen.
Yeah.
You know what? That's because I haven't shown you. Do you know the country song "The Devil Went Down to Georgia"?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that Charlie Daniels is a mainstream country artist who had a couple of moderate hits.
Sure.
Yes.
Cool. Did you know he made a couple of aggressively racist Christian albums in the 2000s?
Color me unsurprised.
And maybe yeah. All right.
Webster's dictionary say a riot is like an unrestrained uproar.
See, this is what I imagine Potty Mouth to sound like.
Oh, that would be the perfect world.
And again, he's gonna fight Bible Man, and it's gonna come all back around.
Hey, don't knock on Bible Man. Actually, you know what? You can leave Bible Man behind. You should watch Larry Boy.
Is that? Okay, yeah, it's VeggieTales.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Larry Boy is the parody of Bible Man. that is also still Christian, but they're vegetables.
The VeggieTales guy is cool.
Phil Vischer's real cool dude.
All right.
Although he is no longer involved in the production of VeggieTales.
Right, because he's cool.
Yeah, because he's
like Five Iron Frenzy isn't on Christian labels anymore either.
Yeah, right. 9/11 changed a lot of things.
I'm so confused.
Don't worry about it.
No, I was going to talk about Mike Fartfield. Yeah,
Mike.
Yeah,
right. And the erotic poetry he wrote about the Loveland Frogman, learning to love the Loveland Frogman.
Also, I need a condensed version. Was Mike involved in the porn? In the group?
No, that was just a weird tangent I went on because he was working for the Extreme Pro Wrestling, which was a side project of the porn group. So he was working with them, but not on the porno side. Although there was a lot of crossover between the two. He just worked on the on the wrestling side, but he hasn't really done a whole hell of a lot of movies besides these movies. I did look.
He did ejaculate on a crucifix, but that was unrelated and for personal use.
Yes, and he was
what he does in his spare time behind closed doors is his business.
No, he leaves them open. That door's wide open.
Exhibitionism is a kink.
So with the with that $2 I spent, I could have rented them. I could have rented Death Toilet for $1, but I decided to opt for the $2 because then I get access to their entire catalog, with the exception of Death Toilet 5, which I think the SRS people have copyrights on right now. I don't know. Well, they're working on that. But I did get to see another movie that he was in called The Cojones Virus. And I was like, oh, this might be interesting.
The what now?
It's called The Cojones Virus. And it came out right when the coronavirus came out. Except for it was about a guy that gets bit by a bug. And I mean, I literally
on his testicles.
Yeah, no, on his neck, but it affected his testicles and it made them rather large. And I could not watch it. I tried to watch it for the goof, and I couldn't sit through it. It was so bad.
It's like were we talking like that South Park episode large, or what are we doing?
I mean, essentially, it's just like he just keeps putting different sized balloons in his shorts so they look bigger.
Oh, so you don't even see them?
Not well. I think at one point I saw him. I was trying to fast forward it to see if it got interesting. It didn't, and I think he threw them over his shoulders at one point, and they were just
that's funny. See, that's funny.
It could be funny.
Dustin, why was this movie? They made Death Toilet an hour long. Why was this movie like unwatchable for you?
Because it was that guy in his truck pretty much the whole time, and it was. If you thought that Death Toilet 3 was like 5 minutes of footage stretched out to an hour, this was like a minute of story stretched out into an hour. It just didn't go anywhere. At least show a toilet exploding or something. But no, it was just bad. I don't recommend Cojones Virus.
Mm-hmm.
I do recommend Death Toilet.
At least you have the balls to make that stand.
I do. And I stand on those balls. Wait, no kink shaming, Patrick.
Yeah.
So that was him. And the only other guy involved in the movie was the father Dingleberry, Isaac Galoob. Also he did some of the filming for this. He was second unit for this movie.
No, you're not allowed to claim that.
He didn't do much besides these kind of movies. He was really big in the hardcore punk underground scene, and yeah, like I said, he died in a car accident April of 2023. So that's sad. I actually liked his kind of acting, his over the top. And I think if they would have just cut it right, it would have been.
That would have required them to cut.
Yeah, I shouldn't say cut it right. I should say cut, because
at all.
Yeah, you don't need to use every single take.
You know what would have helped is if they actually wrote dialogue.
Well, you lose the natural ad-libbing, but then you really lose the natural ad-libbing when you ad-lib 20 times in a row and keep every single take.
If you're going to ad-lib for your movie, you should have at least taken 2 levels of improv courses.
You need to be a second level improver before you can ad lib for a film.
Maybe do a 3rd level and a storyteller class, and then also do some community theater, and then go improv.
You mean just having a career in punk music isn't enough?
You don't even have to play an instrument to be a punk musician. See the Slits.
He plays Mike Brett Baxter plays bass, and he does play drums a little bit, but he's not very good at it. But he does play drums.
I was gonna say it does give you a lack of it does give you a lack of shame, right? Your just shame goes out the window,
which is on display in this film.
He needs a little more shame.
Could you imagine being the person who put your face on Death Toilet as the person writhing on the floor because his balls were cut off by a toilet? And by the way, we didn't go over this. When that happens, they have a plastic knife swishing around the rim. The Death Toilet just has a knife. I don't know where it got the knife. Probably the Home Depot they bought the toilet from.
No, I think it was the Party City where they found the legs and hands from.
It was just the demon has a knife that sticks out, and
so maybe use a demonic hand. I mean, come on, you could
were
at least
at the Spirit Halloween already.
You could at least get like a yard skeleton and have like a bony hand reaching out from there. Come on.
They apparently have psychic toilet paper.
Oh,
which is good.
Yeah,
that pulls people back in. Yeah, so you know.
Okay, what else do you have for us? Because we're within eyeshot of doing 2 hours on Death Toilet 3, and I'm terrified.
That's mostly getting cut. Unlike the movie, Patrick knows how to cut.
Pretty much exactly what it claims to be. It doesn't claim to be a big blockbuster kind of movie. There's no false advertising.
No, there is false advertising because it claims to be a movie.
Yes, and it's a movie. There's actors, there's a director, there's a story.
Did the actors act? Did the directors direct?
Was there a story?
Yes, there was a priest. There was flashbacks. There was stuff.
You know, when I was learning about story writing, priests and flashbacks was not in there.
Priests and flashbacks are common things you find in the real world. They're not about narrative.
Yes, but baby toilet in the woods, virgin pee story.
No, because that had literally nothing to do with what was going on.
Look, if they didn't teach you about virgin pee at the film school, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you know, I was not a party goer, so.
See, you might have missed a little something, I guess. I don't know. All I'm saying is this movie is what it is. It's not a blockbuster. It's not a big budget movie. It's just that.
This movie is, if you saw the title Death Toilet 3 Duty Calls and decided, hey, that looks like a good thing to watch, I feel like that's on you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It is what it is.
So it's like a self-selecting scam.
Yeah. So Dustin, tell me, why did you decide to watch Death Toilet 3?
You know, I gave Patrick some options. It's his fault.
This was my fault. I'll be honest. He bailed on something, and I was just like, "Fuck it, just do the Death Toilet movie. You keep pitching it. Let's just do it."
Yeah, your exact quote was just do Death Toilet. You know you want to, and we could probably squeeze some good jokes out of that one.
We mentioned this 2 hours ago at the start of the podcast. They do have it up on Tubi. Can buy DVDs. So if 3 idiots in California can make a movie with a mini DV camera and YouTube effects, then by God, every college student has no excuse.
Yeah, get out there and do it. You don't even need to edit.
Just throw it all in there.
I mean, he made $2 off me. I'm sure he made some money off somebody else.
I feel like you're the exception that proves the rule, though. I feel like there's something that's supposed to happen in the podcast right now.
In a way, I brought you here to offer you a job. You think you can do it better, so here's your chance.
Okay, now this is going to be one of those times where you have to limit yourself to only 3 things. Only.
I did struggle because I was like, what do I change that's not everything?
Yeah, that's the hard part about that game is that it's either we watch a movie and there's either like 1,000 things that you want to change, or there's like if I change anything, it's no longer what this is supposed to be. And you're just stuck this, like, it's great. I don't want to change anything. So I know as hard as it is to change, you don't want to change anything because you love the movie so much. What would you change? You have to change it now.
So I had to really think hard about this one because, like you said, I tried to put in mind of what they were trying to do and what really bothered me with the film. And so what I decided was the cheap effects didn't bother me that much. I could see the vision, right? So
Right.
so what I think most of what my problem is comes down to literally scripting. First thing is there needs to be more buildup in the story. Like, we're at Death Toilet 3. I thought you were supposed to get more kills per sequel. And we only have one kill in this entire movie. And that's negated by the resurrection. So there's a net 0 deaths in this movie. There's many places in the story where I feel like you could have added more fun, more kills. Like, I want to see like a church lady getting killed or something like that. I want to see like maybe he takes too long to find where the toilet is. And so it gets a couple extra kills in there, you know? Maybe he has an initial fight with the toilet. And that's when he realizes, I can't do this alone. I need Father Dingleberry with me, you know? Like, the second one is, we mentioned it before, but like better dialogue. Like, any dialogue that's like if they would have thought through any amount of their dialogue. Lastly, and this is a personal gripe, when you watch a film called Death Toilet 3 Duty Calls, I feel like they're promising an amount of viscera that was not given to me. Like,
no, I definitely thought it would be more scatological.
I feel like there would be more goop, you know? Like,
goop costs money.
I know, but like, I'm not even a fan of that kind of. I'm not even a fan of those kinds of like movies. Like, movie vomit creep like disgusts me. I can't do it. So like, I was clinching, ready for like scat on the walls, Caro syrup everywhere. But it was a relatively clean movie. Like I said, the guy's balls get cut off, and there's no blood whatsoever.
There was better effects, I think, that we used in our 2 Cups, 1 Girl spoof than there was in this movie. We actually had a special effects lab.
Go grab a can of baked beans and a jar of, like, I don't know, canned cherries, you know, something like cherry pie filling. You can make it with ketchup, you know.
We used like the marshmallow cream and some like chocolate powder. Oh, it makes some good effects there. It's just a nice, simple, cheap, and easy one. And you can eat it when you're done. So
I know.
Bonus.
You can eat it on film and really gross people out.
Exactly. As we did. Anyway, okay. So Patrick, what would you like to change?
Okay. Firstly, instead of going to YouTube, buy some effects packs. They don't cost a lot of money. Some of them are free. They are at least they are at least like designed in a way that is better than whatever you're getting on YouTube. Let's step up the effects game.
You can get better stuff off the Unreal, like that one guy does all his movies with.
Part 2, do the thing I said earlier. Go get some props from the Halloween store. Have like monster hands and shit come out of the toilet. So there's a monster, maybe tentacles.
There's swirling red liquid. Does that count?
Yeah, like an LED light coming out of it, you know?
Yeah, that's easy to do.
There was red liquid. I think that counts.
No, it does not.
No.
No, I want appendages. I want someone to be killed without a knife, but with like claws. Death by monster or demon, not death by knife wielding toilet bowl. Makes no sense.
Okay.
And it really only matters if you sit to pee, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It really does. I mean, like, that's one way to stop the demon toilet is just to stand up to pee.
Yeah, all you guys can do what girls do in public restrooms. You just you squat.
Hover.
You squat and hover.
Yeah, I call it SWAT team.
Survey said.
No, I refuse. It's not a joke.
No.
Picture this with me. Close your eyes. Think about the flashback scene and the guy in the church, right? And Brett Baxter's in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the priest coming forward with toilet paper coming out of his pants,
Mm-hmm.
imagine if the doors to the sanctuary are suddenly kicked open.
Okay.
And Jesus walks in.
I'm loving this.
Set to heavy metal music.
Hell yeah.
He's wearing shades. He's smoking a joint.
He's played by the same actor who got decapitated earlier, and it was also the contractor in a fake mustache.
Let's do that.
And director, that guy, yep.
Yeah, because we don't even have to pay for a new actor.
But you might need a third unit at this point.
And he's like, yo, dude, the fuck you doing here? Here. And he tosses him a roll. Read this in the graveyard. Peace. I'm out.
Healy's out. He has to Healy out.
Yes, Healy.
Oh, Jesus on Heelys would be an amazing movie.
I see the vision, Patrick. I see the vision.
We could make Jesus on Heelys.
If that 30 seconds of film existed, wouldn't the entire movie be worth watching?
Yes.
That's what got us in this damn movie in the first place, is there was 30 seconds of funny, and they're like, wouldn't that make a great movie? Shouldn't we just make this?
Of funny. There was 30 seconds of movie.
30 seconds of fart jokes.
No. There was no fart jokes in the whole movie. There were just fart sounds.
That's also true. Okay, and that's our 2 hours on Death Toilet. Dustin, do you have anything you want to say to bring it down?
Wait, what are Dustin's 3 things?
I wouldn't change a thing about this movie besides editing out like 95% of it. No, it's in all complete honesty, there were a lot of parts of this movie that I found to be genuinely funny, but it was just surrounded by such nonsense and such nothingness. It was like, okay, that line was funny. I don't need you to repeat it 8 different times in a slightly different tone. Like, say the line, move on, go to the next thing. These series of movies would have been fantastic as like little 5 to 10 minute YouTube comedies. They would have done great, and they would have been much funnier. But you just have to sit through so much of just nothing.
I was going to say, are you saying you have to sit through a lot of shit?
Good stuff. Specs, want to plug anything? You got anything to plug?
I don't do things. This is what I do. I don't do things.
We'll have you on again.
Patrick asked so nicely and incredulously this time that I was like, well, I gotta do it.
It was definitely the incredulity that sold you, right?
It was actually. He called me out by name. It's not someone needs, it's Spec, you need to be on this. I was like, well, I've been called. I've been called to duty.
The ancient scrolls have summoned you. So, yes, that wraps it up for our episode of Found on Shelf. If you enjoyed this or enjoyed the movie we watched or anything, then, yeah, maybe somebody did some. Like, subscribe, rate, share. You could do all that fun stuff. Check us out on foundonshelfpod.com. You can leave us voicemails, whatnot. Go listen to us on Good Pods. We are currently sitting at the number 4 indie comedy podcast, and I think that's because we had 8 people vote for us. So I don't think there's a lot of competition on that site.
No, you got to focus on the wins you can achieve.
Exactly. We're Found on Shelf Pod, wherever. Or you can email us, foundonshelfpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of our show, brand of toilet paper, and what ply you use.
That my wife asked, she goes, what ply do you think they're using? And I looked over and I said, well, that's clearly 2-ply. It looks like cottonelle, but the one in the church, that's a single ply. You can tell because of the roll.
That is a single ply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I ask you, is 1-ply really good enough for God's ass? Good night, everybody.
Be safe!
God damn it. You ruined my final thought here, Patrick.